Now we're joined by my colleague TejinderSingh Sodhi, who brings us the latest details. Very good morning to you, Tejinder. This statement coming in from the EAM at yet another global forum, saying there are no two sides sometimes to a story. You know, when the Pakistani reporter was perhaps trying to balance that question, the minister pointed out the fact that it was an erroneous balance.
You see, Shilpa, the Pakistani reporter tried to trick the Indian Foreign Minister S Jaishankar, wherein the Pakistani reporter asked S Jaishankar, when will India stop supporting terrorism? S Jaishankar replied to this question. Otherwise, if you see, whenever there is such a press conference being held by the Pakistani leaders, they don't entertain the questions being asked by the Indian media. But here, S. Jaishankar not only listened to the question asked by the Pakistani journalist, but also responded. The response of S. Jaishankar is this, that the whole world would remember the response given by the Indian Foreign Minister. He said that because it is the ministers of Pakistan who will tell you how long Pakistan intends to practice terrorism, because now the whole world knows that Pakistan, which is the country which harbors, supports, aids and abets terrorism on its soil, which allows its own soil to be used for terror-related activities. We saw Pakistan harboring the most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden. Pakistan has the centuries of terrorists where they breed terrorists. We saw India attacking Balakot, which was one of the hotbed or the breeding ground of Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists. So in his response, S. Jaishankar said that because it is the ministers of Pakistan who will tell you how long Pakistan intends to practice terrorism, look, at the end of the day, the world is not stupid, the world is not forgetful, and the world does not increasingly call out countries and organizations and people who indulge in terrorism. And by taking that debate elsewhere, you are not going to hide it. You are not going to confuse anybody anymore. People have figured it out. So my advice is, please clean up your act. Please try to be a good neighbor. Please try and contribute to what the rest of the world is trying to do today, which is economic growth, progress, development. You see, Shilpa, the entire world is now looking towards India as one of the biggest economy, one of the emerging global superpower, wherein all the multinationals, they want to come to India. But if you see Pakistan, the state is in shambles. Pakistan as a state is in shambles. Their economy is in doldrum. The foreign investment, people are leaving. The Pakistani foreign ministers, Pakistani prime minister is going from country to country with a begging ball, whereas India is providing aid to all its neighbors. We saw during the COVID times when India provided vaccine to not only its neighbor but far-off countries. We provided aid, we provided food grains. The world saw how India provided wheat to Afghanistan during the time of its need. So India as a global hub, India as a global superpower, India as a manufacturing hub is being acknowledged by the world, whereas Pakistan stands exposed as the hub of terrorism. And this is how the Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar called the bluff of Pakistani, not only the Pakistani journalists, but also Pakistani Foreign Affairs Minister, Bilawal Bhutto, who also tried to attack India, who also tried to rake up the Kashmir issue. Yes, Shilpa.
Tejinder, stay with us. Expanding on your point, I'm also joined by Colonel Rohit Dev, defense expert, on our broadcast this morning. Sir, just yesterday, our External Affairs Minister had hit out saying Pakistan is a host of Laden and they should not be raising issues such as Kashmir when Bilawal Bhutto had raised it at the UNSC. And second day in a row, he had said, responding to a Pakistani reporter asking about terrorism emanating from New Delhi, Kabul and Pakistan, the External Affairs Minister made it very clear that that question needs to be answered by the Minister of Pakistan, once again slamming Pakistan for the kind of continued terrorism and harboring terrorists. And this is an issue he's raised on every global forum possible.
Right. So, 2 or 3 things here. I think the Foreign Minister was very apt in that rebuttal, both after after what the Foreign Minister of Pakistan spoke at the UN. Basically, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan shot his mouth off. If you see the clips of maybe his, grandfather, while the 71 war was at its pinnacle, and when he was trying to labor on the UN and trying to exhort the UN, Bilawal couldn't be more foolish, actually. And Bilawal, I also heard before Jaishankar ji spoke, mentioned about the UN Security Council resolution. Now, these Pakistanis at these high levels as foreign ministers, if they don't read the UN Security Council resolution properly, I'm quite sure they're unfit to be where they are. The UN Security Council resolution, Bilawal should know, first mandates vacation of the areas occupied illegally by Pakistan before any franchisee can take place there. And it also permits the Indian forces to hold in adequate strength that area as it deems necessary. So if these are the two connotations, I don't know why they go and shoot their mouth off. And secondly, what the Jaishankar ji told to that journalist to ask this question to Pakistan, Pakistan has been slammed at every fora or forum in this world. And even as late as what the President Biden talked about, them being their largest funder for a long time. And I think the world has seen through Pakistan. And India, let me tell you, geopolitically are so strong today and diplomatically that from Sushma Swaraj's time till now, we have cut the exact funding sources which were funding this, Islamic Caliphate kind of a dream of Pakistan has been culminated. And Pakistan should see, the writing on the wall. You have just come out of the grey list right now because of some numbers which matter in terms of counting of votes. You are on thin ice, and you still want to go to a UN forum, not even knowing your stature. And what is he saying? He is also saying that UN Security Council should not give a permanent seat to India. Mr. Bilawal and Pakistan should know India today is growing in a stature that it does not need the UNSC permanent seat. India will create its own table in the geopolitical world order, and it will choose its friends who will sit on the table with India. So let me tell everybody that UN Security Council seat also, which Bilawal is so hankering about, is only for conflict resolutions. India has been a propagator of peace. We have never invaded or done anything wrong to any country. So we don't have to be on a table to decide through a veto power. Even if India goes to that seat, we will only get one seat and somebody might veto us, China or somebody else, on matters which are of importance to the world. So India is not looking at that seat. So I don't know why even our diplomats and our people in India anchor about that. And what is Bilawal talking to? Can Bilawal Bhutto guarantee India's growth can be retarded? No, he can't guarantee it. So what's he talking about? So I think today, geopolitically, we are very strong, and it's very, very heartening to see statements from the Honorable Minister on World Fora, where he is absolutely crisp and clear, and with utmost clarity, he's saying India's time has arrived. And we don't need any acknowledgements. We are not living in an era of Cold War where we need people's permissions, where we need people's acknowledgements to do what we want to do. We have crossed that stage. Look at Pakistan. It's in an abyss of economic, paralysis. It's a harbinger of terrorism across the globe. Out of every 10 strikes which happen in terrorism across the globe, Pakistani will figure in at least 9.5. So this is the state of Pakistan.
Sir,
they should look
you are
inward.
absolutely right in talking about India's growth story, how it is on the rise. But when it comes to both the LAC and the LOC, we've been sustaining strikes over the last few months, and especially with China and Pakistan having that alliance. Do you feel that emboldens them and also prevents them from making any concrete measures despite India pushing for them?
See, this kind of a jugalbandi between China and Pakistan has not lasted beyond a point. I think that even that era is over. China cannot support the nefarious designs of Pakistan on any global forum because China's own reputation, which is deeply hit, and it is also getting disintegrated within the Chinese domain of the internal situation there, cannot do anything like this. So you find the last 1.5